yesterday. Look forward to these two warm-ups. Oh, how you love them so very much. The exponents and the dimensional analysis. Okay. Last two warm-ups of the semester, though. I know. Okay. Number 15. The first thing I'm going to do in number 15 is I'm going to come in and circle anything that has a negative exponent. So first thing I'm going to do is circle anything that has a negative exponent. Okay. So 4m to the fourth is going to stay on top, and m to the negative 1 is going to come upstairs and become m to the positive 1. Okay, let me say that again. 4m to the fourth is going to stay on top. M to the negative 1 is going to come upstairs and become m to the positive 1. Okay, p to the fourth. This p to the fourth is going to stay on the bottom. This p to the negative fourth is going to come to the bottom and become p to the positive 4. Okay, so now I have 4. How many m's do I have on the top? 5. And how many p's do I have on the bottom? 8. And that's as far as I can go in that problem. What's wrong? It's not my exponent problem. Okay. Okay. Number 16. Use dimensional analysis to solve the following problem. Oh, your fave. Okay, so 300 feet in 1 minute times line. Okay, and we need to get to miles per hour. Do you want to work on the feet first, or do you want to work on the minutes first? Minutes? Okay, minutes are on the bottom. So where should minutes go in this fraction? Top. How many minutes are in an hour? What units am I in right now? Feet per hour. Yeah. Okay. Feet are in the top on this one. Where should feet go in this fraction? How many feet are in a mile? By the way, if you ever have a question like that on a test or quiz, I will give you the 5,280. You do not need to memorize that number. I promise. Okay. Now what do I do on my calculator? Beautiful. So multiply the top ones, divide the bottom ones. It looks so easy now, Mrs. Talbot. Yeah, I know. It's getting better. Okay. Guess what, everybody? Warm-ups are done. So check back over your 16 warm-ups. Make sure you have them all done. I'm not going to stamp them right now, but I am going to stamp them at some point. Just check them out. Make sure that they are done. If they're not done, they're on videos, or you can just do them. Just to let you know that to your heads up that warm-ups should be done. Okay, now grab your team quiz, please. And grab some kind of grading utensil. You can take a colored pencil out of the box in the middle. You can use a pen that you have in your bag. Just something different from what you wrote with on your team quiz. I don't care what it is, just anything that's different. Okay, remember, these are not going to go into the grade book as a grade. So do not lie or cheat. This is just reality. It doesn't matter what you get. We're just checking to see how we're doing. That's it. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so we're going to start with number 1. And you guys are grading as you go. Number 1 is worth 3 points. You need to have the 20 somewhere, either in the table or the equation. You need to be multiplying by 3 somewhere, either in the table or the equation. And then the final answer is 4,680. So it's 1 point for showing 20 somewhere, 1 point for showing multiplying by 3 somehow. Final answer of 4,860. Did I say that backwards a minute ago? Sorry, 4,860. I just wanted you to have it so you can use it to study if you want to. Yes, Annie? Whatever you like. You get to grade this however you get to play teacher for a minute. So you could put stars or hearts or smiley faces or +1 or whatever you want. Any questions about number 1? And you don't have to have both of these, remember, you just have to have one or the other. Okay. Number 2. A is just 1 point. It's -3. B is 3 points. Okay, so there's 1 point for having -3, 1 point for having 10 for term 0, and 1 point for it being in the correct form, which is T of n equals dn plus T0. So 1 point for -3, 1 point for 10, and 1 point for it being in the correct form. Although, by the way, you're also getting an insight as to how I grade these. This is exactly how I grade them. Okay, for C, it's 1 point for the first step and 1 point for the second step. First step being T1 equals 7. Second step being Tn plus 1 equals T of n minus 3. And on D, it's 2 points, 1 for plugging in the 32 and 1 for the final answer of -86. How do you feel like you would have done on these 2 problems by yourself? I think these 2 are easier than number 3. Okay, now let's see number 3A. Number 3A is worth 5 points. The first point is for finding the least common denominator of 24. So just having 24 written somewhere. The second point is for multiplying all of the tops by 24, specifically including this one. So if you did not multiply x by 24, that's -1. The third step is for properly dividing all of the fractions to whole numbers. The fourth point is just for work, like adding and subtracting to both sides and dividing, just doing your steps. And then final answer of 3/5 is 1 point. So if you screwed up somewhere in there, you have to kind of figure out how severe was it? Yes, honey. I mean, it's technically correct, but I would have probably taken a half point off because it's not reduced. Now, interestingly enough, I would also really, really hate 0.6. And the reason is because of Vegas. Did I mention about Vegas? You guys ever hear the thing, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? Okay, so what happens in fractions stays in fractions. What happens in decimal stays in decimal. So just saying, I wouldn't mark yourself wrong. You just put, because we're just learning, but remember to reduce next time, pacing. Because we're learning. Learning. I love that you asked, just to be clear. Okay, now this is the one that I saw was the most wrong when I flipped through your stuff. You need 1 point for the box or showing this. You don't have to actually show the box, but you have to do the box. 1 point for properly distributing the negative. 1 point for combining like terms and undoing, and then 1 point for the final answer of -1. You do not have to show the box for the point. You can just show this. This indicates to me that you did the box. Just, you didn't just draw it. It's okay. 20. So if you could put your total out of 20 at the top. How'd we do? Okay, what's the biggest thing we missed? For me, when I glanced through them, it was not doing the box. Do you guys agree? That was the biggest thing? No? What else? Fraction busters are kind of challenging. Okay, scooch this guy off to the side. And find this page. All right, guys. So today I have one more thing to teach you. This is the last thing, but it's not really anything that new. These are exponentials with percents. Okay, so this is the last thing I need to teach you. They are exponentials with percents, and it's really not a big deal. It's not anything different than we've done so far. It's just I need to show you how to do the percent part. Okay. I'm going to do actually, okay, so this is kind of numbered weird. This one's 92, this one's 93, this one's 94, this one's 95. I'm going to do 92 and 93 with you. And then I'm going to have you guys do 94 and 95 in your groups while I stamp. Hopefully stamp as much as possible. Does that make sense? Okay, here we go. Complete the multiple representations web, table, graph, and equation for each situation. Then use your table, graph, and equation to solve the exponential growth decay problem. A robot vacuum, I have one of those, cleans a dirty floor using multiple passes. During each pass, 15% of the dirt is removed. If the floor initially has 19 ounces of dirt, how much dirt will remain after 6 passes? Okay, here's my question. Is it gaining 15% or losing 15%? Losing. Okay, so this is what you do. You go 100% minus 15%. So it's removing 15% each time equals 85%. Does this make sense so far? Okay. And then you're going to change that 85% to a decimal of 0.85. This is your multiplier. So what this is saying is it's losing 15% each time, but it's keeping 85% each time, which is really sad when you think about the floor being dirty, but whatever. Okay. We're going to start with our table. And we're going to make our table go from, hold on. I just wrote the wrong thing. We're going to make our table go from 0 to 6. Does that make sense for this problem? Do you guys see why I went from 0 to 6? Because it says 6 passes. Okay, how much did it have initially? 19. And you can put 19.00 because it's telling you to round to the nearest hundredth place. And we're going to multiply by 0.85 down the table. Okay, now this is very specific. I want you guys to keep the number going in the calculator. So what I mean by that is we're going to go 19 times 0.85. Okay, and I don't want you to retype this. I just want you to go times 0.85. Times 0.85. 67. Times 0.85. Times 0.85. Times 0.85. $7.17 ounces. Okay, are there any questions about how I made my table? Okay, now we're going to graph the points up on the graph. So 19, 16.15. Just do your best estimates here. 13.7-ish. 11.7-ish. Almost 10. 8.5. 7.2. I'm really hoping that you kind of start to see that curve. Do you see how it's starting to make a curve? Don't connect it. Leave it. If you're like me and you have to keep going because the graph goes to 8, then you can keep going. I'm a nerd. I have to fill it all in. Do you guys have any questions about how I made the graph? Okay, last thing, equation. T of n equals T0 times R to the N. You guys know where these numbers came from? Okay, now in this problem, it said after 6 passes, is that answer shocking? You're shocked by that answer? I think I've seen it somewhere before. Maybe on the table. Okay, so that problem is now done. You kind of get the hang of what to do, I hope. Okay, now we're going to do number 93, which is number 2. Okay, a company promises to release a new smartphone model every month. That's kind of crazy, but okay. Each model's battery life will be 6% longer than the previous models. If the current model's battery life is 691 minutes, what will the latest model's battery life be 9 months from now? Okay, so we start with the multiplier, 100%, and then this one says 6% longer. So what should I do? Plus 6. Okay, and what is 106% converted to a decimal? Perfect. Okay, annoyingly enough, how long am I going to make my table? 9. Great. Okay, what was the start? 691? You guys see how I'm rounding on my paper, but not rounding in the calculator to keep it as accurate as possible? See that I'm just using the number in the calculator as I'm going? Okay, any questions about how I made the table? That's good. Okay, I'm gonna go up and attempt to graph these dots. That's gonna be the hardest part of this whole problem, I think. Okay, so that's 700, so 691. Gonna be like right under the 700. 732, 776, 822, 872, 924, 980, 39, 1100, 767, 1237, 1311. The curve is there. It's very subtle, but it's there. I was starting to worry about it being too linear at first, but then it came through. Okay, last bit. T of n equals 691 times 1.06 to the n. And we want to find 9. All right. So, do you guys feel confident that you could do the two on the back that are the same as this? There's one that's going up and one that's going down. Just a spoiler. Do you guys know what to do? Okay, so subtract from 100% if it's going down, add to 100% if it's going up. Okay, now let's talk about like what we should be doing. So finish those two problems on the back. Then start working on the homework, which is 102 to 107, skip 106. While you guys are working on that stuff, I'm going to come around and stamp whatever I can of whatever you have. However, I want to tell you something real quick. If you guys could all, I know that you're deep in number 94 probably, but if you could just look up here 1 second. On Monday, you guys are not going to come here. You're going to go to Coach T's room, which is Miss Souza's class across the hall. You're not actually going to work on the sequences, doctor. This is too hard for you to do alone. I think the team test is easier. I'm going to bring the team test key over there and put it up on the whiteboard, just like always. And you guys are just going to work on in your groups and check the key of the team test. Does that make sense? And then on Tuesday, I'm going to have you back in my class and I'm going to teach you the review notes because I want to be the one to do that. And then on Thursday, I'm going to help you with the sequences, doctor. It's not that hard. It's just like I need to tell you a few things about it and I want to be the one to do that. Does that make sense? Okay, so on Monday, you're going to go over to Miss Souza's class and work on the team test. And I will bring the team test key over and post it on her whiteboard just like you have it here. Oakley dokley? Okay. All right. And then I think I need to stamp about 5,000 things per person. So I plan on doing that the rest of this period. Oh, fun. You guys can definitely talk to each other. Wow.